What's up, everybody? Jesse, SlotCityFishing. Got a cool episode for you today. I didn't know this until recently, but fish bites, the little bubblegum looking strips of bait that everybody uses surf fishing, there's a local business right down the street from my house. So I drove down here. We're gonna meet with Brett, the pro staff director for Fish Bites. I got some questions for him, man. We're gonna do a little Q&A interview about fish bites. Let's go inside. So we're inside now with Brett Burford, the pro staff director of Fish Bites. Prepared a few questions for him, kind of get the skinny about fish bites. How you doing?
Good, how you guys doing?
All right, so we'll roll into some of the questions. So Brett, tell me a little bit about Fish Bites, like the little history of it, how you guys got started.
So about 40 years ago almost, Dr. Carr was a marine biologist at the University of Florida. He had a lab here in St. Augustine and was looking for a different kind of replacement, a synthetic recreation replacement bait for opposed to live bait. So he figured out what kind of chemicals the fish were attracted to from a shrimp or a clam or a crab, and he originally came out with a product called gator bait back in the 80s and never really took off. But when he finally retired in the late 90s, he came up with the Fish Bites formula and kind of took it off from there.
All right, my next question for you, Brett. Did you guys ever think that Fish Bites was gonna blow up like this? So it's in like almost every single big box store. I was joking around with my buddy the other day down in South Texas. Fish Bites are so coveted, they keep them behind like a locked case. People are just like dying to get onto them. So going from a small, you said at a university, to being in almost every single fishing chain, like did you guys ever see this happening?
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny. Dr. Carr, the guy who invented this bait, I've known my entire life and grew up fishing with his grandson. And he was always coming out with different kind of gimmick products. There was the gator bait originally, like I told you about. He had this burst worm where it was a freshwater product where he would inject it with this goo and it would slowly release scent. And none of those things really took off. So when he came out with the Fish Bites, all we had were just these white pieces of bubble gum, and I knew they worked. I could fish with them and caught fish with them, but I'd always kind of thought, well, how the hell are we going to sell a product that looks like a piece of bubble gum? So personally, on my end, I was skeptical it'd really take off. But yeah, after about 3 or 4 years, they started selling some products. We then had the bright idea to add some colors to our products. And what really took us off was our bloodworm scent that was come out within 2005 or 6, and that just took off up northeast, and it's kind of been all downhill from there.
All right, next question for you. Everybody knows about these guys. If you go surf fishing, you have these. I was telling Brett earlier outside, there's not many products that I personally use where I can't go fishing without them. When I go surf fishing, I got about 10 packs of these in my cooler every single time. But here recently, probably in the last, I don't know, you can tell us, couple years, y'all have actually come out with lures, and y'all have a lot of other stuff that I didn't even know existed. So if you don't mind, Brett, tell us about some of your other products that you guys have, and maybe some other stuff that you're currently working on.
Sure. So we came out about 2 years ago, we came out with some molded baits. We've got a curly tail, a shrimp body, a paddle tail, and a jerk bait. And the beauty of these things is they're 100% biodegradable. There's not one piece of plastic or rubber in it. They're about as tough as anything you can get out there. And they've got those fish bite scent technology worked out throughout the entire bait. And it was difficult initially trying to figure this out to keep this a biodegradable product and find a way to release our liquid scent from these solids here. But we had a chemist come in and help us out, Bill Buzzy, and we've actually got it figured out. And if you're from the Northeast area, these things are taking off. They can't keep them on the shelves right now. Mm-hmm. But the combination scent technology and the action that these guys have are just make for an awesome product. We also have these new trailers here, which are, I think last year we came out with them. If anybody was ever familiar with Uncle Josh's pork rinds, they had something similar. And these guys can be used as a, throw it on a jig head and use it as a flounder bait. It's made out of the same material we work with our lures on. However, it's got the mesh right in the middle of it. And you can throw these on the back of a bucktail to add some scent and some action. They were designed to be used in the salt water and the fresh water. So you can throw them on the back of a spinner bait, things like that. And if you were familiar with Uncle Josh's, their #1 seller was the frog. And so we've now been having this come out for freshwater in January. And we'll have 5 colors in that, and strictly a freshwater product. And we're trying to break into that market a little bit. We have a couple other freshwater products, some catfish baits, but we're trying to get a little bit further in there. And we've got our jig heads that are specifically designed to be used with these particular lures here. They've got some offset prongs there, and you get 4 in a pack opposed to a lot of guys have 3 in a pack. They're all great baits. One question we get a lot about these baits is, after I use it once, can I throw it back in the bag? Yes and no. You can throw it back into a separate bag and use it again. You don't want to throw it back into the same bag it came in. Being that it's 100% biodegradable product, what you'll end up doing is introducing bacteria from the water into this bag, and you'll have quite a stench on your hands. Baits will still work. They're there for the life of the product. The scent will be there as long as you can get a hook through it. You've got a bait to fish with, but always separate them if you ever want to hang on to them.
All right, so here's the multi-million-dollar question. How are fish bites made?
Blood, sweat, and tears. That's all I'm going to tell you.
That's
and
it?
I can guarantee you the blood, because I lost this here finger making our FISHBITES Fight Club a couple years ago. But yeah, that's all we can tell you about that.
That's fair. Now, from the source, how do I get the best results out of fish bites? And then, common question, I see this on Facebook groups and forums all the time, is once I'm done out there and I have some fish bites left over, how do I store those or preserve them the best way? That way I can use them again on my next trip.
Right, well, being that, our products, the baits we're making are 100% biodegradable, you want to try to keep them as cool as possible. We keep them in a refrigerator from the time we make them until they leave the shop. We've even bought most of our distributors coolers to keep these baits in until they sell. We'll get questions quite a bit. Somebody will call me, my baits have turned color on me, they're hard, and they're ruined now. And I'll ask them where they were storing them. They'll tell me a hot garage in Florida. So if you can, keep them in the refrigerator. If you can't, if you leave them at room temperature, they'll be fine for up to a year. But even with that said, even if they turn color or they get tougher, the scent is still there for the life of the product. As long as you can get the hook through there and throw it out, you can still catch fish. The bait will rehydrate once it hits the water, become more pliable, and usually the color will come back too, because when you do see them discolored, it's just that outer edge that's discolored. So once that first little layer wears off from the water, you'll have your natural color again, and you've always got the scent. The scent will always be there. Okay, so fish bites are used all over the U.S., and then you mentioned earlier y'all are starting to break into international market also. Just, I'm curious, what's the funniest or craziest thing that you've ever seen anybody catch on a fish bite? Well, FISHBITES has caught well over 150, maybe up to 200 different species of fish. The craziest fish I've ever caught on a FISHBITES was a spotted eagle ray up in Alabama. One of the funnier stories I have from it, and this has happened twice in my life, where I'll be on a dock fishing and somebody will come up and ask me why I'm catching the fish and they're not, and then I'll show them this little bubble gum stuff here, and they'll kind of laugh at me. 2 times I've had somebody put this on their hook, throw it out to the canal, and set their pole down. Both those guys ended up losing their pole and their reel, and they became FISHBITES believer from here on out.
All right, so one last question for you, Brett. I didn't know until recently that you guys were a local business. You're only 20 minutes from my house down here. I'm in Jacksonville, but you guys are down here in St. Augustine. Just talk a little bit about, being a local business. Where can we buy fish bites? How you guys support the community and all?
Right, well, that's one thing we're really proud of is, all our products are made right here in St. Augustine, United States of America, the greatest country there is. And you know, a lot of our competitors are subbing their businesses out in different areas. We make everything right here in the house. All our baits are made right here, and we just love helping out wherever we can, especially in our local communities. Our first store we're in was Abbott Angler, just right down the road from us. And you know, Strike Zone's a big store for us up in Jacksonville. But we try to help out the little guys. We're in all the box stores, but we try to help out with as many community type organizations as we can, fundraisers. You know, somebody needs some bait, they know they can call us, and you know, we'll get some sample packs out for different tournaments and things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We love being here. We're not going anywhere else. We're actually building another 6,000 square foot building right outside there, and we just hope to keep growing.
Brett, thank you so much for this opportunity, for letting me come down and check out how you guys run things. It's pretty awesome what y'all do down here.
Yeah, thanks for coming by, and we look forward to working a lot with Jesse and Slot City Fishing. You'll definitely be seeing some more fish bites on his shows there.
All right, there you have it, Fish Bites. I asked as many questions as I could come up with. This was kind of a spur of the moment thing. But yeah, that was amazing. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity, letting me come down here and asking questions about these baits. You know, like I said earlier, there's not many things that like I really love to use while fishing, and like I can't fish without them. But Fish Bites genuinely is one of those things, man. I take it with me every time I go surf fishing. So I'm like a big fanboy, so it's pretty cool. They did show me around and stuff in there, but it's like top secret stuff, so can't go into the specifics, but it was awesome, man. Like a really cool experience. So looking forward to working with Fish Bites more in the future. If you like this video, comment down below. You know, if you have additional questions, I've been talking to Brett back and forth, and I can relay those questions to him. And subscribe to the channel. We're gonna start doing a lot of stuff like this. There's a lot of local businesses that are in our Facebook group. You can join the group and learn about them. But I want to start spotlighting a lot of these guys that support the channel, because it really does make a big difference, and it's a lot of fun for us. So yeah, like the video if you liked it. Comment if you got any questions. Subscribe to the channel. And me and Brett are already planning some fishing trips, man. We're gonna take out the boats, go out there and try to catch some of these fish in St. Augustine, which that's really the coolest thing to me, is he's gonna show me where to fish down here in St. Augustine. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.